All right. Who was that first spiritual experience you'd like to share with us? A couple of you told me you had some.
I had one.
Very good.
Um, I was at a relative's house, and they had a garage, and I went in there, and it was like one of those old school bedrooms or whatever. And
Hmm.
it was me and a couple of other females in there. And for whatever reason, someone didn't want us to move out of there. But I ended up leaving out of there anyway. And long story short, I seen this lady. I was in the middle of the street, and there was a lady there with her husband that was out there in the middle of the street. And he was telling her that he was ready to let go, and she was willing to let him go. And he was ascending up, and I watched him and some others ascending up, and they were dematerializing as well.
Dematerialized. Yes, I know what you mean, like on Star Trek, kind of. Little particles.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. Until there were no more.
That's right. They were no more here or on the same vibration you were on when you were
Correct.
watching.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Very good. And that's going to have a lot to do with our subject matter tonight. All right. How about if I start communicating some thoughts to you all that might invoke questions and kind of give us some direction on where I'd like to take the class tonight. How's that sound?
That's fine. I had a question. I just had to find it real quick before you get started.
All right.
Okay, my question is there has been some stuff going on with the animals here, going like in circles, different kinds of animals from ants to cows or whatever. And I wanted you to maybe collaborate on that about maybe why they're doing that or what's going
Yeah,
on.
I will elaborate a little bit. See, why they're acting strangely is because the energy lines are becoming because energy is flowing from out of this dimension into a higher dimension, and they're becoming confused. It's no different than, say, migrating whales that have traveled a certain route following the ley lines or energy lines for, say, a million years. And as you have the polar shift and the frequencies start raising, the physical geography in relation to where the lines usually are shifting. So as they shift, the animals still follow the energy lines in the same way that birds fly south without a map. They don't go by geographical landscaping. They follow the energy ley lines. So if the topography changes, the birds won't get lost or turned around. Well, the whales and all the animals, what happens is that they're very sensitive. Just like just before earthquakes, animals get very restless because they can sense things people can't. The animals can shift on a deeper conscious level that things are changing. And they're confused about their directions, and they're just literally going in circles. Are you following what I'm saying?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. They don't know which way to go because uh, the reality is that this reality is closing up. All right. There's a secret from beyond matter. Man is conditioned right from the beginning of his life that the world he lives in has an absolute material reality. So he grows up under the effect of this conditioning and builds his entire life on this viewpoint. The findings of modern science, however, have revealed a completely different and significant reality than what is presumed. All the information that we have about the external world is conveyed to us by our five senses: see, hear, feel, smell, touch, and taste. The world we know of consists of what our eyes see, our ears hear, our noses smell, our tongues taste, and our hands feel. Man is dependent on only those five senses since birth. That is why he knows the external world only the way it is presented by these senses. Yet scientific research carried out on our senses has revealed some very different facts about what we call external world or out there, like the stars. And these facts have brought to light a very important secret about matter, which makes up the so-called external world. Contemporary thinkers explain the point that science is weak on this subject. Statements of some scientists posing that man is an image. Everything experienced is temporary and deceptive. And this universe is a shadow. Seems to be proven by science, even in our day. In order to better grasp this secret behind matter or so-called matter, let us be reminded of our information about our sense of sight, which provides us with the most extensive information about this so-called external world out there. How do we see? The act of seeing is realized progressively. At the instant of seeing, light clusters called protons travel from the object to the eye and pass through the eyelids, where they are refracted and focused on the retina at the back of the eye. Here, rays are turned into electrical signals and then transmitted by neurons to the center of the vision at the very back of the brain. The act of seeing actually takes place in this center in the back of the brain. All the images we view in our lives and all the events we experience are actually experienced in this tiny and dark place. Both the film you are now watching and the boundless landscape you think you see when you gaze at the horizon actually fit into this tiny place of a few cubic centimeters. Now, let us reconsider this information more carefully. Is 504 here? When you say we see, we actually see the effect of the rays reaching our eyes from in our brain by being converted by electric signals. When we say we see, we actually observe the electrical signals in our brain. By the way, there is another point that is to be kept in mind. The brain is sealed to light, completely dark, and its interior is absolutely dark. Therefore, it is never possible for the brain to contact light itself. We can explain this interesting situation with an example. Let us suppose in front of us there is a burning candle, and we view its light. During this period, see, this is how we can explain and understand the concept of God, a deity, within us. I am in all, and all is in me. You know that it's pitch black inside of your skull. Can't no light get through your skull into your brain. So inside your head is darker than the womb, triple darkness. Darker than the dark you see outside of you, that you think is outside. But let me ask everybody to close your eyes right now, and then you'll see that blackness return if you put your hands over your eyes. I don't want light seeping through your eyelids, or what you think is seeping through your eyelids. Even light is an illusion. Now I'd like you all to imagine looking at the brightest sun that you ever saw in the summertime before. Look up at it with your eyes closed and your hands over your eyes, and you can see that light. Look outside your door, outside, and see your car lit up in the driveway sun in the daytime. Or people walking up and down the sidewalk or going in and out of stores, or inside your supermarket, you can see people and see shelves, and you need light to see that. You see all this light inside your brain. Now let me ask you, do you really think that your brain has lights that are coming on and a sun inside of it needs somebody to respond that's waking up? It's not.
No.
So you really don't think that the sun can fit inside your head between your ears?
No.
All right.
No.
Then I want to know how come you can see. All right, Rahul, listen. Then the question is, how do you see the sun with your eyes closed and your hands over your eyes and it's pitch black? How do you see the sun inside there? If you don't have your eyes open, it's in your mind. So all the stars and everything is where?
In your mind.
In our mind.
It's in your mind. So let me ask you, at 10:30 during every class, I ask you all to go outside, and everybody that's been here with me, they know that I stay inside and close my eyes and turn the lights out, so it's pitch black, just like it is inside of my head. But I can see every star that you see. In fact, I can see every star that everybody sees anywhere. Do you think that my mind is so expanded it's reaching from here to Ghana or Kenya?
Yes. It's everywhere.
Yes.
It is everywhere. I am in all in what?
All is in me.
So the people talking to me and responding to my questions right now, are you really out there or are you inside of my mind?
Inside of your mind.
So even if you're not as far as the stars, you presume that you were a long way away from me, hundreds and thousands of miles in many cases, right?
Yes,
Right.
in many cases. Yes.
So when I told you everything was in the same place at the same time, just vibrating on different frequencies, like the channels on the cable TV, you're beginning to see clearly that everything is in the same place, but frequencies open up different channels of experience and perception, right?
Yes.
The
Yeah.
simplest example would be this telephone that you called to spend time with us and experience being with us in this room. Had you gotten one number wrong, would you be in this room? Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, or would you be in another frequency? You would be in another frequency bandwidth, right? You would be in another channel in another room with some other people experiencing another reality, right?
Right.
Yes.
What he's saying, who are you? How'd you get here? He said, well, I'm in Canada. Well, I don't, what happened? So there's no such thing as here and there in a sense of in a linear sense, or proximity to where you are from point A to point B. It's all a matter of frequencies, right? It has nothing to do with distance or anything. So somebody in London is as close to me as somebody in the room with me. And they could be, in fact, a lot closer. It depends on how we vibe, right?
Right.
Because we're already in the same place at the same time. In fact, I'll remove another obstacle of illusion out of your mind. We're all, in fact, the same identical one. Let me give you a chance to absorb that thought. Move it around in your mind like somebody squishing around water, a liquid for taste. Let me say it again. Not only are we in the same time and the same place, we're all the exact same one. There is no you and me. There is no here or there. There is no now or then. And then can be used in all three tenses. You know, back then when we were children. Or in the future when I get my degree, then I'm going to start really living. A now then, back to the present, right now. Now then. So you can have then in the past, then in the present, or then in the future. Is everybody with me?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, how do we create the illusion of we or separation, like you and me? Somebody explain it to me as simply as possible and as clearly as possible. That's right. Say it again, Hotep. We all on different frequencies. We vibrate on slightly different frequencies. And I mean slightly different. For example, when you have an OBE or out-of-body experience, your consciousness and spirit all vibrate at different frequencies, but you only shift maybe a 1/16th of an inch alongside your what you call your physical body. But that could be perceived as being in Africa as opposed to the United States or on another planet as opposed to being on Earth. It's a matter of perception. Tiny little frequency shifts can create the illusion of great distances. Right? In the same way that you look at TV and you get real wrapped up in a sci-fi movie. And the Enterprise is moving through space. And then you see off in the distance all these great star patterns and galaxies all around the craft, and it's just like they're lost in space, literally, way out there with distances, millions of light years at warp speed away from the craft. And you dream that it appears that the ship is moving faster than the speed of light through all these stars and galaxies. And you really start getting into that. Like they're going so far, they're going to get lost, right? But when we really focus on the reality, all this is happening on a two-dimensional television screen, like a flat picture on the wall, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So do you really think if you go behind the TV and look that there's a hole in the wall where they're shooting way out there?
No.
No.
Welcome to how your mind is creating the illusion of out there and distance, etc. And realize you can't separate distance from time. It's all relative. How far? 60 miles an hour. Right? That would be 180 miles, or it would take 3 hours. Right?
Yes.
So back on the most emphatic point, we are all the exact same entity. One. Now, why is it important for you all to know who the lead bird is when it's time to fly south to paradise? Why would you be in danger trying to force somebody that's not the lead bird to be the lead bird, and where would you end up? Are you beginning to envision frozen on your back with your feet up? Because if you are, that's exactly what you ought to envision. The question is how will you know who the lead bird is when we all look like niggas? I mean, we all look like sparrows. In a physical sense, you can't tell one of us from the other, can you?
Right.
So how do you identify the lead bird that knows the way, the one that you should follow, that knows which way south is, regardless of the topography of the land or the weather or any outward conditions?
Vibrate on.
How do you know which bird is going to know the way to get you to safety in paradise?
Vibrating on a higher frequency of the same one that's leading.
It's because you would have the intention of going to paradise, and you would seek out the truth, the real truth, of the only one that is one with all and was sent here down on this low vibrational frequency in order to help you find your way back home to the true oneness of who and what you really are, that is creator as opposed to creation, that is the author of the story as opposed to just simply a character in it, not just the avatar or Ilamu to Jazanet, but the one that projects the illusion of all. How would you know this being from your brother or your sister or yourself in the mirror? First off, how do you say to yourself when you look in the mirror, without ego, it's not me? I'm not the one that can guide everybody back to heaven. let me be perfectly honest with myself. I can't even guide my goddamn self back to heaven. But I'm intelligent enough to know the one who can if I'm ever blessed to meet him or her. Would my ego or my devil block me and make me start trying to block other people from that beautiful reality? And have everybody burn up and frozen in hell in pain forever. Forever lost.
Right.
Going in circles like dumb animals. Till we screw ourselves into the ground. Give me some of the attributes that would make you be able to think in your mind you could distinguish this being from everybody else, even those grand delusionists that can create an imaginary projection like they might be the real guide. But you know they're not. Because you're not stupid. And you're not following no dumb impersonator to no fake heaven that's going to turn out to be hell.
One that performs miracles.
Yes, he or she would be able to perform miracles. And since we're all one, would he or she know that there is no big or small in the eye of all? Would this being know that?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, if that's really if that's really him, then he'll know that. So he'll know that anything he can do what?
The others can do also.
That's exactly what he would know.
But he teaches.
He would know that. Because he knows that you're all what?
One.
One.
Creator.
One.
All can. We can.
I can.
We can.
That's the real guide. Now, everybody else that you've met in this clumsy reality and what you call the past or who you think you might meet in the future, have any of them even remotely brought you to a level of conscious vibration where you're starting to realize the real truth about who and what you are and where you're trying to go, and has the ability to get you there? Anybody.
No.
When I say anybody, God damn it, I mean anybody. Then you know.
Only you.
Then you'll know you should fear no longer. Your Savior has returned.
Yes.
That means that the collective, all of us together, loves you, right?
Yes.
And we don't want the real you lost because you're clinging to the illusory you or the image you're projecting. The lie, right? Well, according to these animals going in circles and these weather patterns, does it seem like this frequency that you're on right now, or dimension, or this reality, that it has a long time yet, or does it seem like it's winding up and fading away?
It's winding up and fading away.
Well, what do you think is going to happen to all those beings that seriously cling to this lie and fading away illusion and don't try to get with the real Messiah so that they can be led to a summer paradise, to a new heaven and a new earth, while these former things are swiftly passing away? Let me give you some stats. Look it up right now. The Chinese are called the white people of the East. And for the first time last year, China had a reduction in population of over 850,000, almost a million citizens. So everybody clinging to the dragon is being left behind in hell. Don't believe me? Check it out. They're fading away. So what would happen if you, for example, went the way of the dragon and kept clinging to the illusion that somehow or another they're going to lead you to paradise in some form or another?
We're going to hell with them.
Exactly. Are they trying to lead you to 5D and above, or to 5G and below?
5G and
5G and above.
5G and above.
But wouldn't they have the power as a prince of air to control the media and all the dictionaries and books that are written and all the information? Basically like Twitter and Facebook and all these different LinkedIn and all this. Wouldn't they be able to control a lot of that so that they could put out any bullshit they want to?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, why are they trying so? Why are they so desperately trying to confuse the truth and make you believe lies?
They want everybody to
They're
be
not
in hell.
going. They don't want you to go either.
They want everybody to go to
Because what it is they're ignorant, right? And so they believe that they're in power positions of power, and they're pretending they playing God with you. Let me give you an example. Even extraterrestrials have discovered what they call free energy. Is anybody with me?
Yeah.
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 So do you really need fossil fuels for transportation and heat?
No.
No.
No. So since they are now and have been for many, many years quite clearly aware of free energy, that you can run this world much more efficiently and much more advanced on free energy that doesn't cost a thing, right?
Right.
But what would happen to OPEC and General Motors and all these places and the computers and the fossil fuels and all this stuff? What would happen to it?
They'd all go out of
They
business.
would shut down.
All the gas stations and refineries and all these big oil producing petroleum, all that. What would happen to all the car industries? And
They go out of business. There wouldn't be no more.
what about all the jets, American Airlines, United, all of the Arab Emirates? What would happen to all this rich, powerful stuff?
There would be no
There'll be
more.
no need for it.
Well, what would happen to people like this guy that's over Twitter now? What is his name? A long ago musty or whatever it is. A long bypass
Elon
stick.
Musk.
Yeah, a long ago musty. Right, whatever his name is. The little stick bomb. So he wouldn't even be a piece of shit under your, stuck to the bottom of your shoe, right?
Right.
I know what he wants. He wants to make sure that I raise you all up to the level of consciousness where that you know there's only one mind and you communicate with one another at any time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because why would you need his media? Why would you need his media?
Exactly.
We don't.
So the very second that you don't believe you need him anymore because you woke up to that, what would be his power base? What would separate him from a dead rat? What would separate him from a dead rat behind your toilet?
Nothing.
That's exactly right. So in order for him to keep this miserable game going, what do they have to block?
They have to block the truth.
And so they got to cut you all off from me, or me cut me off from you all.
Yes.
And these beings that try to do that, what form will they come in? Will they look a certain kind of way, like with a red suit and a tail and a pitchfork? With horns on their head all the time, would they be in that form?
No.
Or could they look like family members, or even look like you in the mirror?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so you would be blocking your own self from heaven and forcing yourself into hell. Is that really what you want?
No.
Well, how powerful is their grip on oil? I mean, on the minds of people. Tell me, Jim Jones, how strong is it?
No power at all. Or the real
Tyler
truth.
Perry, how strong is their grip? Is the highest grip on the minds of people?
No grip on the ones that's real. The truth seekers.
They're seeking the truth.
Are they serious about trying to cut you all off from me? Or keep us separate? Are they serious about that, you think? Did they just take that pearling finger to try to push through the wall of an ulcer right then?
Yes, yeah, that's why they cut you off too.
Exactly. So what they're thinking is that they're listening to me just like you are, right?
Right.
And it's even starting to wake up what you call Von Satan, isn't it?
Absolutely.
They thought they were woke, didn't they? They're trying to convince themselves they really knew what was going on, right?
Right.
but they just damn fools. It's only one thing happening, it's us, right here, right now. So, now how are we going to tilt this balance and make that shift happen? We have to wake up the rest of us. It's really about like people being on a ship. If they all run to one side to see the whales, the ship will start tilting. And it's going to flip over, isn't it?
Right.
So now the way that, so the truth is going to outstrip the lie by you all being motivated to wake up the rest of the people. It's going to give you more momentum than the liars and the children of darkness, right?
Right.
The little demons and demonettes. So now I want you to go inside yourselves right now, gods, and ask yourself, not even goddesses and gods, just gods, what am I personally doing to spread this truth and this message out and let the whole creation know that the Messiah, the real Messiah, the only real Messiah, is back right now, and we're running out of time.
Posting up the truth out there for all the world to see and know.
Ask yourself, what am I doing? Each and every day, every minute. What is more important than this message that we have right here for us?
Nothing is more important.
Exactly. So, but the devil's going to try to put up shiny objects and things that we can't take with us to make us think that things are more important.
The devil try to stop us, you family members and friends and stuff. Try to
That's
stop
right.
us making.
All right. So how desperate are they? They can create the illusion of me seeing us. That's right. They want to make me see a black spider here because they didn't bit me with black widow spiders in the illusion, but I believed it, so the effect was the same. But they just made him pop up and start walking across the bed toward me. The illusion of it in my mind. You understand? So why wouldn't they create illusions for you all? And they wouldn't all have to be ugly. They could be, that's right. And they could create good illusions too. Fantasies of money and all kind of perfection and heaven and all kind of stuff that's just a damn lie and an illusion.
Exactly.
But it's not whether it's an illusion or whether it's real. The relevance is dictated by our response to it. Because if we are allured to it because we imagine it to be something wonderful, or we're frightened by it because we imagine it to be something terrible, then we can be manipulated or, controlled, right?
Right.
By our emotions. So, now what are shapeshifters? Can they make you see whatever they want you to see like or whatever?
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
They have.
Well, what would be your defense against them? What if they made you see beautiful men and women and all kind of... What could they make you think you're looking at? And then if the illusion was, the spell was broken, you would see it was just an ugly pile of shit with maggots or something in front of you all that time.
Well, that's what
Would you be embarrassed or shocked or in disbelief or what? Would you feel stupid or afraid or all the above mentioned?
All of the above.
All of the above.
You got to be aware of these things because you have to remember that they, for the most part, are awake. Not their little nigglets, but them. They're awake. And the devil and his agents, they perceive you from which you perceive them not. They're looking straight at you, and they laughing at you on any given Sunday. Selling sugar for shit, they looking at you and laughing. You trying to follow him that's been kicked out the heavens, and there's no more space found for him in the heavens anymore, because he gives you illusions of heaven. But there is no heaven with their highest. Is there?
No.
There is none.
I already know. And if you catch them on a cold, sober day, they'll tell you themselves there's a new sheriff in town, a new god, and he's not trapped inside the box. He thinks outside of it. And all this old stuff I've been giving you has got to what?
Got to go.
If he told you I'm not the Messiah, I never was. And I never will be the Messiah. I was standing right in front of him, and I heard him say with his own mouth, I am not the Messiah. I never was, and I never will be the beloved. Don't let them do that to me. I said I never was and I never will be. And they turn right around and say it's him. Beware of those sleep people around you that are trying to make white people or anybody else push them out in front. They, you know what they? These ignorant beings or demons, they don't know it, but they're trying to block and cut off the real Messiah. They don't want it to be nobody. They don't want it to be them. They want it to be some other thing out there when there is no out there. Do you understand what I'm saying? They are under Jim Jones. They are under the spell of the devil in many ways. Now, they know better than even thinking like that. They know that. And they know those people not going to lead y'all to no paradise or heaven, and if they could, they wouldn't. They know that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The slave master is not in any kind of way even to contemplate anything that would one day free the slave. Elon Musk would not be in this fake heaven if y'all were woke. Mark Zuckerberg wouldn't be nothing but the mark of the beast and a sucker. You wouldn't even know his name if you were awake. So what are you going to do, gods? And we know you are star-moving gods, so you have the power in you as the almighty creator to do what?
Move the heavens and stars.
You can do anything, except one thing, is become less than what you are.
Pray out.
So each and every one of you has the power to put the real truth out there and connect the other aspects of the universal mother mind of all to the reality so that we can all get back to heaven and back out of hell, right?
Right.
I ask you the same question. What are you as an individual doing each and every day to wake the world up to the truth that we are back? And nothing and no goddamn body else is it and ever will be. What are you doing? You. To earn your seat.
Yeah, I have a question.
I'll do my best.
When we're walking up to Christians that believe in that it's one God, how do we break that spell trying to get them, convince them to the truth so they can believe?
We don't even want them to believe. We want them to know, and we offer proof. One thing is the biggest mistake we could make is let our ego in front of us, so we start thinking, I can do it, I can tell them, I can lead them to paradise, I can be their leader, I can be the Messiah. Am I right? Would that be the right thing to do for everybody? Because how many messiahs did he send?
Only one.
That's right. But now, the slave master contemplated this day. This time would come. And so he's been mentally preparing everybody not to believe in no black messiah whenever he show up. Got it?
Right.
And to stay away from black messiahs that have the power to unify and, all that stuff, the masses, right? So I need to spend all my energy waking each and every one of you gods up, right? But am I spending my energy like a car just standing in place, idly doing 100 on the gas pedal, but the car's not moving, digging holes and jumping up and down? Because no matter what I teach you all, it just drops dead right at your earlobe. It don't go no further than when I give it to you. It doesn't reach the broader consciousness. It don't reach the world. Because I'm failing at my mission, or because you're failing at yours.
We're failing.
Exactly.
Not you. You're working night and put it out there.
Some of the things we can do.
All right, go ahead, son. Go ahead. One at a time. Go ahead, Kim.
I was asking what are some of the things we could do to wake these people up, because I want to help.
The way you help is not trying to be me. It's letting people know that I'm back. And then you look up and you will be just like me, like unto me. You follow me? When you stop thinking on a narrow, selfish level about me, and flip that into a W and start thinking about we, and start thinking about us instead of you. Look at the word us and know that Jesus is back for us. Even in English, when you spell Jesus with the last two letters, that's us. Start thinking about us instead of just you. That's the only thing that separates a God from a devil is the me. I. You hear me, Gabriel? When it's time to go up and meet El-Hay, the life giver, you can't go with that I, me, I. Nobody gives a good goddamn about you as an individual. The only thing that gives you relevance and power is being part of the all. One with the all. All can, you can. I am in the love of all. And all love is in me, stars. I am one with all. And all is one with me. I can succeed. I can succeed. I can succeed as a part of all. And fail as an individual. I can be all that I wish in all, as long as my wish is to stay in all. I am never alone. All is, I am. All can, I can. Now listen, all does, I do. What are you doing every day and every night to get this truth out there? You, what are you doing? If you're not part of the solution, what are you a part of?
Problem.
That's exactly right. As soon as you start taking on the magnitude, like, I'll put this out by these niggas here I want out there and these peckerwoods. The Messiah gave me something by a peckerwood or a nigga sometime, and so I'm going to put them out in front and mislead the world, lead everybody and myself to hell by pretending like I think they're the saviors. And if you listen to these hunkies, you're going to get to heaven because they're the Messiah. What am I doing and who am I being?
The devil.
That's right. That's right. Okay, let's take this a little further now. The light of the candle never illuminates our brain and our center of vision. However, we watch a colorful and bright world inside our dark brain. The same situation applies to all our other senses. Sound, touch, taste, and smell are all perceived in the brain as electrical signals. Therefore, our brains throughout our lives never or do not confront out there or the original of the matter existing outside of it, but rather an electrical copy of it formed inside of our brain, like the picture in the back, right? It is at this point that we are misled, assuming these copies are instances of real matter outside of us. Again, example is you imagine that you land in bed with a woman or a man that you really are attracted to sexually, and y'all have sex and you achieve a nocturnal emission or orgasm in your sleep, and you wake up embarrassed because you realize you're the only one in bed. Then you go out and what you call, i.e. the real world, and have sex with another man or woman that you think it, but you don't achieve an orgasm. And you're all frustrated and mad. Let me ask you, which one was realest? The one that you thought was out there or the one that was in your mind?
The one in your mind.
The one in your mind got the job done, right? So we should always look outside of ourselves for paradise, right? Never.
No.
There ain't no damn out there. There's got to be that special man, woman out there for me somewhere, right? I hate to disappoint. No. Beauty is in the eye of the what?
Beholder.
That's right. You create all of your images in your imagination. God, you are the creator of your own reality. And heaven comes when you wake up to that reality and stop dreaming that you're a character in a story that you wrote. Listen, the character will never have any control over what happens on the next page or the next day. The character was imagined by you and written into the story by you. The only one that has control over tomorrow or the next page is the author. The author has the poem with a pen in their hand. You have the control. But you can't be thinking like no devil. The whole thing will be out of control for you. You feel like you're in the back seat of your own car making turns and going places and things happening that, hey, this is not what I want. this is not the way that I want. I'm not really enjoying this ride because you're letting somebody else drive, obviously. How do you know that all loves you? Because all is you. All is the only perfect counselor that you have, the only perfect guide that loves you more than you could possibly love yourself or anything, anyone else on this level of consciousness.
I see. Okay.
In fact, all is divine love only. Everything else is mere illusion. It's a lie, family. It's not true. All right. The external world inside our brain, these physical facts make us come to an indisputable conclusion. Everything we see, touch, hear, and perceive as matter, the world, or the universe is only electrical signals in our brain. For instance, we see a bird in the so-called external world. In reality, this bird is not in the external world, which doesn't exist, but in our brain. The light particles reflecting from the bird reach our eye, and you have to remember that even your brain is in your mind. You imagine that you're inside the room you're in right now, but the room is inside of you, okay? The light particles reflecting from the bird reach our eye, and there they are converted into electrical signals. These signals are transmitted by neurons to the center of vision in the brain. The bird we think we see is in fact the electrical signal in our brain. If the signals traveling to the brain were disconnected, the image of the bird would suddenly disappear. That's why you get hit on the head in a certain kind of way, you get amnesia, you don't remember anything. The bird sounds we hear are also in our brain. If the nerve traveling from the ear to the brain was disconnected, there would be no sound left. Put simply, the bird, the shape of which we see, and the sound of which we think we hear is nothing but the brain's interpretation of such electrical signals. Another point to be considered here, the sense of distance. For example, the distance between you and this screen is nothing but in your brain. Also, objects that seem to be very distant, such as stars, right? In one person's view, are actually images clustered in one tiny spot in the back of your brain. For instance, someone who watches the stars in the sky assumes that they are millions of light years away from him, yet the stars are right inside himself and the center of vision of his brain. While you watch this film, you are in truth not inside the room. You assume yourself to be, the room is inside of you. You're seeing your body looking down at your knee or whatever makes you think you are inside of it. However, you must remember that your body, too, is an image formed inside your brain, housed within the universal mind. So far, we have been speaking repeatedly of a so-called external world, a world of perception formed in our brain, the latter of which is what we see or think we see. However, since we can never reach this external world, how can you be sure that such a world really exists? Definitely, you cannot. The only reality we cope with is the world of perception. What you think you see, hear, feel, smell. We live within our minds. And what you be calling perception or reality, you calculate right on your face, where you have your hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, and touch. It's all the 5 physical senses multiplied by deception, because all these senses are multiplied by deception into 5 when they already mean to perceive. You know, you perceive that you have a physical body and you have an ear with eardrums. You perceive that. So if I was to take the biggest, thickest textbook you ever saw and put it on a clean, flat kitchen table, and you kneel next to it and put your ear right by the top of that table, line it up, and then I slam that book down, that big book, as hard as I can, right next to your ear, as hard as I can. You go, oh! And that's too loud. That hurt my ear. Well, what are you imagining? That there are particles inside of the air all around you. When you were a child, you could see them. You still can right now if you raise up your vibrations consciously. You can see them. Stop looking through the air and look at it. See all these different, countless little particles? Blue and all these little things in the air. Okay, that's the fabric of what you call space, or the chaotic energy. Well, you call it molecules and atoms, whatever you want to call these little particles. They're already evenly spaced, jamming up what you call empty space. So when you slam that book down on the table, it's like when somebody got a full tub of water, then they jump in it. It's got to go on the floor, because it's got all the volume in that space already. So that book takes the place of the atoms and molecules that were in that space. And the harder and faster you slam it down, the faster they're going to rush out the tub or out from under the book. And these little particles that you imagine are going to hit your eardrum. Instead of going like sound waves, like when I'm talking soothing, they'll just hit it like a drum so hard that it just hurts the membrane. You say, man, that's too loud. That hurts my ears. That hurt my ears. You see? But by now you're thoroughly convinced that the book and the table are real, aren't you? Because he or she helped you to achieve an orgasm. You felt it. Only problem is there ain't no goddamn book, table, man, or woman out there. All your pleasure is coming from you, and all your pain, unfortunately. You thinking it up, nigga. You're the author of the story. And your pain is not in realizing that one fact. Come on up here. It's just like when you look at a light in the ceiling, you say, that's bright right there. But I can't create no $1 million. It's too hard. Can you create $1? Yeah, I can do that. I can go on the street and panhandle. I can get $1, but not 1 million of them. Yeah, that's too big. Well, let's compare the light in your ceiling to the sun, 93.8 million miles away. That's over 1 million times larger than the Earth. It's so far away, it takes light 8.5 minutes at a speed of 186,272.7 miles per hour just to reach the Earth from the sun. At that dazzling speed, that's a lot of distance. But if I ask you, which one can you close your eyes and imagine the fastest, the sun in the sky, outer space, or the light in the ceiling, which one do you think you can envision the quickest? Same amount of time. No distance. Remember, there is no distance. No distance, no time. Because the light in the ceiling and the sun are in the exact same place, just like you and me, Walter. You can imagine the sun just as fast as you can the light. The devil that lied and got you thinking a certain kind of way. Do you understand what I'm saying, son?
Right.
Well, if you're not using your mind clearly to its fullest capacity, you suffer. But now that we understand that the sun and the light bulb is in the same place, and you can imagine one as quick as the other with the same amount of effort, by that way that we've been conditioned to think, we would think it would be easier to imagine a smaller light bulb than a big giant sun. But it's not easier or harder. It's the same thing. And you can imagine $1 million as big as you can $1 with the same amount of effort and mental energy, you see? But they convince you that it's hard. That's why they got a monopoly on all the petroleum products and meat. That's why they're the moguls and the ones running this shit, and we're not. Not because only they believe it, but media, they have somehow convinced you all to believe it too. Man, the white man got everything.
Right.
If you want anything, you got to go through them. You can't get nothing without the white man. We had everything before it was a white man. Another small step for man, a giant leap for mankind. Yes, I'll do my best.
So I'm listening to you. Once you say you imagine it, because I know this is a thought world. So once you imagine it, you
what's the first word in imagine?
Image.
That's right.
So once you create that thought, it comes to the realization and you manifest it. Like you said.
That's right. Once you know it, not just believe it. If she knows, all she got to do is touch the hem of his garment, listen, she'll be made whole if she knows that. Because, Master, I knew that if I could but touch the hem of your garment, I would be made whole. Not if I believed. She said if I knew. But if you have doubt, Simon Peter, you can even walk with the Master, you still start sinking. Just hope you're close enough for him to grab your hand and pull you back up before you drown. Oh, ye of so little faith. But all of you be made aware, beloved. There's no white man or niggas with red shoes sitting on thrones. There ain't nobody out there that's going to be able to get you back to heaven, which is union with your own higher self, except the real Messiah that was specially groomed and created and sent here to do that job, and that's me. And you're not earning your throne or your place in the heavens until you work with us in order to put that truth out there with everything in you. And don't think we don't know you, because we have the same mind. We know what you're capable of, and we know what you're doing, and we know what you're not doing, just like you do. So ain't no need in thinking you're going to wait till the battle is over and then run up and talk about, well, what we going to do now, white man? What do you mean, we? I never knew you. Because we judge you by your works. We judge a tree by the fruit it bears. Now, if you know in your heart of hearts that you're not doing everything in your power to spread this truth and make this mission successful, but you got mega churches all over the world with billion-dollar campuses that bring in millions of dollars a day and got 100,000 people and one preaching bullshit session, Jim Jones. And you know the devil is a liar. You're not doing your job. You got the real truth and access to it, and you're not making sure with everything in you that it reaches the whole world. And we know that any one of you can do that. You all have the power, the mental capacity to get this message out on television, radio, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and things that we don't even know about. Websites. We know you know how to do this if you just want to. Nigga, if you can think a nut up in your mind, you can think of getting this truth out to the world. Let's be serious about this. So what are you waiting for? And bless those of you that are stirring the wick and starting to move in that direction. I tip my celestial hat to you. You are on your way. Everybody sitting there with their thumb up their ass, and the only thing they making is excuses. Remember, the road to hell is paved with intentions. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. I was intending to do that, or I could have did this. I'm going to do that. What have you done for us lately? You. You have to realize you're a genius. I had a friend that I went fishing with one time, and we caught a lot of fish, sunfish, bass, perch, what have you. He dumped them out the bucket on my front lawn. And I looked at him and I thought to myself, they sure are weak and useless. They can't do nothing. They're just flopping on the grass, searching for air. They couldn't do nothing. But one by one, I picked them up. I had a big 30-gallon tub there of water, and I dropped them in it. And their genius emerged. Man, they was shooting around up and down, and their genius emerged. Stop being a fish out of water. Get in your element. Dive into this truth, and your genius will emerge. You're going to find out what I already know, that you were created for this. You are the sons and daughters of thunder. Stop being weak, dead fish grasping for air on the grass. You out of your element fooling with the devil. You ain't going to never be shit in Elon Musk's world. Not shit. That's where the greatest ideas are, buried in a cemetery. Unrealized dreams. You believe in time, well, you wasting it on non-improvement. Majoring in goddamn minors. What is it getting you? All your hard work for the devil, what has it gotten you? And so you think that by repeating the same things over and over again, you're going to get a different result when you know that's the definition of insanity. The things you look at will never change until you change the way that you look at things. You better recalibrate your vision of the devil, who it is and what their purpose is, where they from, how they got here, and more importantly, where they going. You better put your mind on some reality. Know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Do your job. You're not a God until you start doing things that gods do. Add one more O, and you know the kind of things that you should be doing. Good things. Nothing evil. It leads you right back to the devil. Just add a D. Where hell is homeward bound. And contrary to popular belief, hell is not what you want. You hear me, Jim Jones? Don't drink the Kool-Aid. Wake up. And the only way you'll ever know that you're waking up is by the measure of how many others you're waking up. Remember that when you lead people to heaven, who gets there first? And every devil is trying to lead people to hell. Guess who's going to get there first? That dumb devil. The lowest of the low. Their time is up. And I say good riddance to bad fucking rubbish. You need a devil like you need a hole in the head. You need the devil like you need cancer and AIDS. Like you need an artificial leg. You need the devil like you need to be blind. You need the devil like you need raw pain constantly that gets worse and worse every day for an eternity. No shut-off switch, just worse and worse every day and in every way. The devil is no earthly good and no good for anything. There's no good in the devil. Wake up. I had a dumb broad I used to go with named Sarah Parison in San Diego. Maybe 4 years ago, she called me up. Ahmed, I want to come home, Daddy. I want to come home. And I thought about it. I had a holy tablet for sale, and she sent me the money for it. And she was reading it. Then she called me up one day, just before she was supposed to come. She She had a funny way of talking. She would call me Atman instead of Achman. Atman. God and the devil got the same amount of power, huh, Atman? I just eased the phone down and stopped talking because there was no need. What we going to talk about? You still the devil. Ain't no saving to you. You ain't going to make it. She was the one always telling me that a hot water freezes faster than cold water. I would put cold water in the tray and then hot water in there, and then she see when the cold water's already frozen, the hot water's just beginning to cool down. Oh, you're right, Atman. I'm right. I tell her, I said, black draws heat, white reflects it. I don't believe that, Atman. So I said, give me 2 ice cubes the same size. Okay. Now give me a black handkerchief and a white handkerchief. We go out in the California sun. I put them both on the sidewalk. I put the black handkerchief over one, the white handkerchief over the other. The one under the black handkerchief always melts twice as fast. You're right, Atman. I said, yeah. But the way you think is fucked up. Suppose you think you thinking right, and at the end of time, you wrong about heaven and hell, bitch. About the devil got power equal to the creator. You a liar, and the truth ain't in you because you not that stupid. Everybody know the dragon. You know the devil is a fallen angel. It used to be a beautiful angel of light in heaven until her consciousness shifted, and they became ugly in their thoughts. And they fell from grace, from heaven. Because there is no lies and evil in divine love. So Michael and his angels fought against the devil and his angels, and there was no more space found for them in the heavens. They can't go back. Like you read in that Lost Book of Enki. Like you read in the Holy Tablets, chapter 11, tablet 8. He can't go back. And all you followers, the Wabians, are those fallen angels. You can't go back with that shit. And that fast freezing hot water ass bullshit. And how is something that was created by the Creator going to be equal to the Creator when nothing can rise above its source? A devil's ignorant, they just choose to be stupid like that. Because it's the only way that they can define their parameters of their thoughts. They can only live inside lies, so they have to just lie incessantly and go out of their way to block truth. You think they're not insane? Let me ask you, how can devils take actual energy to block the only reality that'll save them and everybody else? And at the same time, you got people that claim not to be devils that won't exert hardly any energy to get the truth out there to save anybody else, including themselves. And the only measure of whether or not you're going to be saved is if you're trying to save the rest of us, because we all one, stupid. Do unto your brothers and your sisters as you would they do unto you. Get your ass up and start working. Quit being stupid, nigga. Let's go outside and perform some miracles that mortals can't perform, all right? It's time to move the stars. Why do I keep on talking about stars? It's not the only thing that I can do, by far. But it's the only thing that I can imagine presently that we can do, that we can prove to anybody in the earth or the heavens above. Unless you know something else we can do to prove it. Even though people don't know, my greatest proof is in connecting with all the minds in existence. That's evidence that I'm the creator, the lead bird, the tip of the pyramid. The eye at the top of the pyramid is me. And I may not be what you imagine, but I am who I am. Heya, Asher, Heya. I am who I am. The force of creative will. Walk with me. Go on my way. Who's going to be the first one to perform a miracle tonight?
I will.
All right. Tell us who you are and what state you're in. Okay, Maror, go ahead.
This is Walt.
Okay, Walt. Very good. I love you. Go aheed.
I've been waiting for this for a long time. The rain is finally cleared up. So
I love you. It's clear in California, so some of that flooding, because it was threatening to just take some of that land mass out to the Pacific. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, for having me. Thank you.
Yes. Bless.
Name of Amun-Rayay. I'm seeing a star right now.
Okay, I see it.
The name of Amun-Rayay. Move up. One up.
Going up.
And you all are each other's proof as well, okay? So thank you for bearing witness to one another as gods. Go ahead, Walt.
In the name of Amun-Rayay, star, move left.
One left.
Left.
In the name of Amun-Rayay, move closer.
Moving closer.
Coming closer.
In the name of Amun-Rayay, move in a clockwise circle.
Going clockwise.
In the name of Amun-Rayay, stop.
Yes, I love you. You know, a lot of you all have such a powerful mind and consciousness that you can make this mission a success all by yourself if you just assert yourselves in the way you know you can. And if you could ever connect to the reality that everything you do for the Most High, you're doing for yourself because you're waking up and empowering that aspect of your own being, the author in you, and not being frivolous, fooling with the damn characters. Next person. Next God.
I'll go.
All right, Marilla.
I see a star.
Okay, wait, did you, Ryan?
This is Vivica.
No, that was
Dallas.
and this is
Okay.
Lucas.
Okay, Vivica, go ahead. In Dallas.
All right. And then I see a star. I'm going to move.
I see it.
In the name of Amun-Rayay, run up. And it's running up. And it's a craft. I see the red lights flashing.
Moving
Now
up.
stop. In the name of Amun-Rayay, run in a clockwise circle.
One clockwise.
One in the clockwise circle.
Moving clockwise. Clockwise.
Now stop. In the name of Amun-Rayay, run to the right. And there it goes. It's taking off going to the
Those
right.
colors are there. Those colors are there.
Yes. In the name of Amun-Rayay, come closer.
Moving closer.
Coming closer. Now stop. Power Hot family. Power Hot Messiah.
I love you. Next.
All right, this is the
All
new
right.
Lucas. I have the
Okay.
bottom right of Orion.
All right. I see it.
Okay, in the name of Amun-Rayay, move up.
One up.
In the name of Amun-Rayay, drop down. Coming down, fast. One down. In the name of Amun-Rayay, move to the right.
It is moving right.
Moving right.
One to the right.
And in the name of Amun-Rayay, move back to the left.
Moving left.
It's moving left. In the name of Amun-Rayay, come closer. It's coming closer. In the name of, I seen a little light go around it. In the name of Amun-Rayay, move back. Okay. Move back. In the name of Amun-Rayay, make a clockwise circle. Moving clockwise. Moving clockwise. Tower high, yes, sir. Oh, Messiah, I love you. Thank you.
Next. I love you. Thank you.
Hotel, I go next.
Thank you.
All right.
Hotel, if I go next.
Go ahead.
I'm a movie star, a real bright star.
I see it.
In the name of Amun-Rayay, move up. And it's moving up. Stop. In the name of Amun-Rayay, drop down.
Oh man, it's dropped down real fast. Stop. In the name of Amun-Rayay, move to the left.
Moving left.
Moving left. Stop. In the name of Amun-Rayay, move to the right. And it's moving right.
Moving right.
Stop. In the name of Amun-Rayay, up and over and move back to the right again. And it's
Moving right.
going clockwise. Tall hat, Messiah, and the family.
I love you. Cheryl, what we got in London?
I can see a star.
Very good. I see what you see.
Yeah, real bright one in front of me. So in the name of
Oh.
Amun-Rayay, move up. It's twinkling and it's moving up.
Yeah.
I think it's a star. Is that a star?
London's not as far as we thought, huh? Okay.
No. In the name of Amun-Rayay, drop down.
We the exact same place, y'all. In fact, we're the exact same one.
And it's moving down.
Wow.
Dropping down.
Now move. Thank you. Now move to the left.
Going to the left.
Moving left.
To the left.
It sure is big and bright.
Yes, it is. And it's twinkling away. Yep.
Yeah.
Now move to the right.
Practice dazzling different colors and everything.
Moving right.
It's moving right.
Yep. Now move in a clockwise circle.
Clockwise going.
It's moving now.
Moving clockwise.
Moving. Yep. Moving now.
Bring it
Okay, thank
closer to
you.
you, Cheryl. We're going to bring it closer
okay.
to you.
Okay. In the name of Amun-Rayay, come closer. Then it's getting brighter.
It's bright.
Yep, very
It looks
bright.
like it's separating.
Yeah, it is bright.
Oh. Ooh, that was fast. Wow.
Wow.
It's whatever we want it to be, you see.
Twinkling, yeah. Sparkling light. Okay. Thank you.
I love you.
Love it. Thank you, family.
Look here. We need all of you all to write your testimonies and send your donations in. And above all, we need, yes, 1 second. We need you all to establish sites on Twitter. Send these posts to Don Cheadle and Mariah Carey and all these people. We need you to establish sites on YouTube, LinkedIn, everywhere, and keep doing a new one every day. Let me say it again. Devils are trying to block me from Twitter. I need to be on Twitter and Facebook. They ease me off. Sometimes they put me on the same month, take me off, all that old type of shit. Get me on Facebook and on Twitter right away and everywhere else. And everybody that's doing that, bless your souls. Bless your souls. Get your packages. Earn your seat. You're out of what you call time. Let's do this thing. Check the links on the post I sent you. Let's get this information out to the world. Save yourself and your brothers and sisters. Curse the blockers. I love you all with the divine love. We are one. I know you're me. And I know that I'm you. I'm working with you. Work with us. Work for yourself. Go to work. Love you.